Hello everyone, I'm Ahmed Balarabe Musa. I'm here to present my paper titled Impact of Financial Inclusion on Firm Value Performance in Developing Countries. The paper is divided into five different parts. We have the introduction, literature overview, data and methodology, results and conclusion. We'll start from the introduction. The introduction here tries to show the significance of finance for firms' development. And it is with this significance of finance that brings about the notion of firm funding gap, which becomes a popular term in the study of corporate finance. It is with that we want to take the Dongal et al. 2017 and Wang 2016 study, which stated that the primary barrier for businesses for business growth in developing countries is insufficient funding. So it is also stated by the Milgukont et al. 2018 and De La Torre et al. 2017 that even though there are so many difficulties faced based on financing and firm funding for firms in developing countries, smaller firms confront greater difficulties compared to their counterpart, the bigger firms. So here, the introduction tries to show the importance of funding to firms because it is stated here by De La Torre and et al. 2019 that funding is very important for firms because it allows them to grow their production, grow their operations, grow their innovation, facilities, investment ventures, and even recruiting new personnel. So it is important to look at finance based on this because even though that the developing countries firms face difficulty in funding, but the notion of trying to access the funding with the firms comes up based on their firm value performance because the essence of getting the funds here from maybe financial institutions or organizations is for them to to bring higher returns to their shareholders. But how do they do that? That is the question. It is because based on this study, we'll try to see that the funding deficit is there for primary concern of developing countries. So the problem here is stemming from firms trying to get the finances from the financial institutions and etc, and with that debt capital they can get which comes to them as a debt because it is an understanding issue that the firms in developing countries cannot finance their activities based on their retained earnings and maybe money gotten from the shareholders and etc, or maybe from their profits. So the better way for them to access finance is through debt from financial institutions because that is the only way that debt can come out externally from the firms based on developing countries. So what happens if the firms now can collect debt? What happens to their performance? Are they performing well, or do the debts be a way of them to perform better? That is the issue to check here in the overview of the study. So here, based on the second part is the literature review. Based on the literature review, even though there are several studies that talks about accessing firm and maybe firm performance, access of firm access to finance and firm performance, but not much has been done based on maybe developing countries because the reason is because some study are seeing the negative impact on debt on firm value performance, and some are seeing the positive impact of debt on firm value performance. But based on the literatures we review here, which are consistent with the study, are that of Fowey 2017, who stated that financial inclusion has an influence on firm value performance based on financial access, which means that firms can get credit. When they get credit, their firm their firm value performance increases. And there's also this of Aziz and Abbas 2019, which stated that financial inclusion decreases liquidity constraints and promotes investment and therefore enhances their performance, which is a good standing based on the influence of financial inclusion on firm value performance. So also Chauvet and Jacqueline in 2017 emphasizes on the financial system role in sustaining firm performance, because financial development is an important role for firm performance, especially with high liquidity demands. So we look at financial inclusion and firm value performance, an important issue based on developing countries. So the third part of the study is that the data collection, and let's say the data methodology. And the paper applies two-step GMM generalized method of moment technique to consisting 4,642 non-financial firms gotten from 22 developing countries, and we use the annual data of these non-financial firms from 2010 to 2016. And it is with that we presented two different model specifications, because here the top in Q captures the proxy for financial inclusion, while we use proxies financial inclusion ATM, which is automatic teller machine, and commercial bank branches are proxies for financial inclusion. Based on that, we divided the specifications into two, trying to capture Tobin Q with ATM and Tobin Q with commercial bank branches for the model specification. And we also use the firm specific if variables like the size of the firm, opportunity of growth, profit, fixed effect, fixed asset, and etc. Also, we use the macro economic variables, also just like the inflation, interest rate, growth of GDP, the market capitalization, also as part of our dependent variables to try and determine the impact of financial inclusion on firm value performance. The result, based on the result, we started by bringing the descriptive statistics. Based on the descriptive statistics, we wanted to describe how the data is, and we can see that the automatic teller machine has some disparity, meaning it has a mean of 35.4, which brings about the disparity between 2.0 to be the minimum value and 119.2 to be the maximum value, which also signifies or implies that firms in developing countries may have more financial access than others due to the presence of automatic teller machine. We'll just say financial inclusion. Likewise, for the bank branches is also but the mean is also 12.7, and the differences in bank branches ranges from 4.4 to 24.6. That is from the minimum to the maximum respectively. And it also implies that firms in such developing countries may get more access to loans or debt capital due to the presence of more branches open, which signifies that as customers deposit more money with the more branches available, then firms can have firms can have access to debt capital, to which they will invest in their ventures. So this is the table for the descriptive statistics, which I just explained. The second part of the result is the correlation result. Here, the correlation result tries to show the bivariate connection between the variables, and it also detects if there is multicollinearity. And generally, based on the result, it indicates that there's no multicollinearity based on the independent variables, because here the Tobin Q and ATM are statistically significant. So also the Tobin Q and bank branches also, they are statistically significant. In general, it means that firm access to finance increases as firm value performance increases. This is the table computed by the authors using Stata 14. This is just the result I just explained. And for the other part of the result, which is the dynamic model, the generalized method of moment result, the generalized method of moment result try to show the relationship between the dependent and the independent variables. Here we take the main variables here, which are the ATM and the BB, to explain Tobin Q, which are the fundamental variables needed to be understood. So based on our model one, which is from Tobin Q and ATM, we start by saying that ATM coefficient is 0.013 and is significant statistically at 1%, because Tobin Q here is said to link with to be linked with ATM. So it means here that ATM has significant impact, or positive and significant impact on Tobin Q. And the reason why such connection can happen is because due to the benefit of raising additional debt capital, as the bank's financial inclusion strategy could attract more deposit to lend to firms, and in turn enables firms to raise their debt level needed to maximize tax shield benefit of debt, which increases their firm value performance. Also, for the second model is for the bank branches vis-a-vis Tobin Q. The bank branches coefficient is 0.05 and is significantly statistically significant at 5% level, and positively related to Tobin Q. This evidence can be seen that as due to the benefit of rising additional debt capital, as the bank's financial inclusion strategy may attract more deposits to the firms, just like it is in the ATM. It will in turn bring about increased debt levels, which the firms will increase their performances by maximizing the benefit of tax shield, just like it is with the that of the ATM. This is the fundamental part of the result. Even though based on the result, the size of the firm, the opportunity growth are also significant based on the statistics with Tobin. It can be seen on this table that the size and the profits are all positively linked to Tobin Q. Even it's clearly seen that also the inflation and the interest rate also has significant impact with the Tobin Q. So that will take us to the conclusion, and based on the conclusion, we made some points to try and point out the the conclusion based on the result. So the result here revealed that financial inclusion in general significantly and positively has impact or influence on firm value performance in developing countries. And the result also suggests that financial managers need to look for ways to access debt capital and simultaneously maximize tax shield benefit of debt to raise firm value performance. It also shows that the shareholders should employ firm managers with the understanding and the knowledge of how to access funding in order to invest in other ventures that will bring return to the shareholders. Also, the policymakers are not left out of the recommendation, because without policies that will enhance financial development, financial inclusion will not have impact on firm value performance, because if policies are being put in place, they will complement the bank's financial, or will I say debt policies, or banks financing strategies, and firms will have more access to debt capital needed to maximize their firm value. I think that is the end of the presentation. Thank you.